Hey guys, welcome back to the What About AI podcast. I'm Sean Boyce.
James Perkins.
And today, what we want to talk about with you is all the new models from the big AI players and our experience with them thus far because we've been playing around with them ourselves. So, two I'll mention specifically that came out as recently as last week from Anthropic, an update to their Opus model. The number for that one is 4.6, so Opus 4.6 from Anthropic. And then on the OpenAI side, it's ChatGPT 5.3 Codex because I believe the chat agent is not out yet, although we're
That's right. Yeah.
expecting that momentarily. So that one could be out anytime. So those two are both out, and we've had an opportunity to kind of play around with them, which has been very interesting. I myself have been very impressed. I've used both, but I've spent most of my time with Anthropic's Opus 4.6. I thought Opus 4.5 was very good, but 4.6 is crazy good. And what I've noticed that I think is the most impressive thus far is it is thinking ahead a couple of steps in whatever it is you're working on with it. So whatever it is you want it to do, I found that in my threads, it's been prompting me with the next steps in the process, which is either something I was thinking about doing eventually anyway, so it's connecting the dots very effectively, or, and this one maybe is even a little scary, it's coming up with even better ideas about what to do next from what it was I was thinking about doing. So that experience has been very impressive thus far. I think it is a significant improvement on 4.5. I played around with 5.3 a little bit codex wise and did a little bit of some like software building things with it, which I thought were also impressive, but I've been most impressed with 4.6 so far. What's your experience been?
Similar. I've been playing with 4.5 for months now, and I was also impressed. I thought it was great. Opus 4.5, a lot of folks haven't used Anthropic Claude, by the way.
Yeah, that's super interesting. We should talk about
I
that
think so.
because I
Yeah.
don't know why more people aren't using it because it's really good.
We had a ton of family over for the Super Bowl this past weekend, and I was talking about Claude, and my mom was like, "Oh, who's Claude? Did you go to school with him?" I'm like, "No, it's a whole." I had to explain it again. I've explained it 5 times to her already, by the way, but she never tried it. Most people I found, most consumers are using ChatGPT right now, and they're not really paying for the premium version, or they're using Gemini because it comes with Google built in. But I would say the best model out there right now for the purposes of coding or building is Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6. Hands down, by far, the best.
Agreed.
To Sean's point, it's thinking ahead, it's catching mistakes. I prompted it this just last night to do some work on the website. And I was like, well, are you sure you want to do that? Because you just made this change here and it might conflict. And I was, sorry, Opus, you're
Yeah,
right. Go ahead.
I guess you're the boss now.
Who needs me anymore? So it's very effective, especially for coding. I would also say for written components and research, they've upped their game.
Definitely.
So 4.5, if you put a research request in with Claude, you would get pretty good results, but it didn't ask as many thorough follow-up questions, and it would sometimes go away from the intent or purpose of the research on its own. ChatGPT was better at that in the previous versions. Now, I would say 4.6 can handle it better than ChatGPT. Granted, the chatbot is using 5.2. OpenAI is supposed to release ChatGPT 5.3, and they said 2 weeks, but I've heard rumors it'll be by this Friday.
Yeah, I was going to say in the AI world, that usually means faster.
Yeah,
So well said. Had some good time to kind of pull these models apart and share some of those lessons with you thus far. I think one of the reasons why I think less people may be leveraging Anthropic's Claude a little bit more is they've been pretty aggressive at marketing themselves at the business audiences. So perhaps they're connecting maybe a little bit more with businesses than they are directly with consumers. Obviously, OpenAI, I think, has the first mover advantages, and ChatGPT is one of the probably key reasons that all of this became so popular. So, Claude was developed shortly after that, or became much more popular shortly after that. Like James is saying, and this has been my experience, I did use OpenAI's ChatGPT probably the most previously. That was before Claude got really good. And I think it started to get very good around Sonnet 4.5 and then Opus 4.1, 4.5 Opus, and now 4.6 Opus. I think it continues to get better and better and significantly as well too for the reasons that we mentioned. Another topic I wanted to talk about as part of this episode as well too is you joked about it about
our
the
shirts.
AI. Well, the shirts is an obvious one that we need to fix next time. We totally planned this out, by the way, but it's the AI being the boss kind of thing. So I think what I'm curious about, and this is what I want you to talk about next as well too, is where do we think this is going? Like, where is it? We're talking about where it is, and there's a ton of change right now. We're using the currently available tech and talking about its capabilities, but what does that mean for the future of workers, businesses, in terms of like where we see the tech heading? One thing that I would probably call attention to is pretty much exactly that. I think Opus 4.6 is so good at thinking ahead that I almost can see maybe the next update or something like that coming up with the idea themselves and then telling me what it needs me to do as opposed to the other way around. So it starts to make me think, are we getting closer to the point where AI is calling quite a bit more of the shots and then people are carrying it forward with whatever it can't do yet kind of thing. I don't know. That's where my mind goes when I think about how good it is at thinking ahead right now.
I mean, it's a philosophical question, and AGI. You've heard artificial general intelligence and various forms of that have been mentioned. It's not really well defined yet. When does AI become sentient or more intelligent than human beings? I would argue it's more intelligent now, just because of the access to knowledge that it has. Like
Yeah.
a human can learn anything and become an expert after maybe 2 years, 3 years. ChatGPT and OpenAI and Claude and et cetera, they all have all that knowledge at their fingertips already. That's what they're trained on that knowledge. So how far away is it from becoming powerful enough to replace the human thought process, second order thinking, problem solving skills? I think you're right. Next version or the version after, it's probably going to happen this year. And that's going to have profound impacts to humanity because our our claim to fame, what makes us human, is we're the smartest entity on Earth as far as we know,
So far.
right? Yeah. So when you have something that can think better than you, faster than you, and recall more knowledge than you, what then becomes your specialty or secret sauce? I've seen Elon Musk talk about this, Dario Amati, all the heads of all the big shops, Sam Altman, and the constant mention is, oh, well, humans will be able to focus more on hobbies or doing work they enjoy. I think that's a great take on it. I
Yeah,
think
that would be amazing.
if AI can take over most of the routine work or the things that folks don't want to do but have to do just to make money to live, then that will give folks more time to pursue what they want, but the value of human work goes down significantly. So it's going to get tricky. I don't think humans are getting replaced immediately. I think it's going to be some level of augmentation. And I had a debate with one of my friends. He's a software engineer, brilliant, brilliant guy. Um, Went back and forth for maybe 2 hours about this. And his feedback was, you're not going to see software engineers vanish overnight. He already thinks 4.6 is more powerful than most senior engineers. That was his feedback.
Yep, I would say the same.
But he said big companies are so embedded in the software tools they're using today
Yep.
and have so many client commitments and other things, they can't just wipe out the workforce. They're going to put more and more reliance on the tools, but you're going to see kind of a homogenization of the AI functionalities and adaptation to AI, augmentation of the workers with AI, but they're probably going to keep a significant chunk of their current software staff. And I think that's true for the next few years at least.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. That's kind of what I was thinking also. We've talked about this topic at length because as we share with you all these remarkable capabilities and the ability to think ahead and all that kind of stuff, my mind at least races towards, oh no, things are going to change overnight. Having been in tech as long as we have, it pretty much never has done that, despite how impressive the technology was that was available at the time. And obviously, this is more impressive than those instances, but those changes didn't happen overnight either. I think one of the biggest reasons, and this is a reason I would say to not panic about this stuff, is because of the inertia that you have to overcome. So there's all this, there's just like the executives and the leaders at companies, they couldn't possibly know all of the things that you are doing at the various levels throughout the organization. So if they wanted to just like pull the ripcord and make massive changes to their workforces and things like that, I think that would have so many negative unintended consequences that it just doesn't make any sense to do something like that. So more realistically, this thing is probably going to need to be planned out and take quite a bit longer. And in the research that we're doing, companies are struggling quite a bit more with figuring out, okay, we've seen the demos, like we know this tech is crazy capable. We know it's several generations probably beyond what we're currently capable of, but like how do we get some of it? They're trying to figure out how to use it themselves. And
Yeah.
I think that's where you can be a change agent for them as they're big and they've got so many layers and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's very hard for companies, especially the bigger it is, to move more quickly on any of these things. But you as an individual have a unique advantage that they don't. You can move much more quickly. You can be quite a bit more basically like versatile in that way. And that nimble ability that is unique to the individual is where you can go start playing around with these things, using them, and then bringing those lessons learned back to the people that you work with at your company so that they have a better understanding of where the rubber meets the road with some of this stuff. Like, how do we get more practical value out of it? You can basically be a case study that says, well, here's what I used it to do. That saved me all this time in, at this level, maybe measuring it on like a unit scale, but we'd probably do this, what, thousands of times a week or even a day and something like that. So if we scale that all the way up by rolling it out to everybody who does the same type of work, that value starts to be pretty significant. And another thing I would add is before you start getting into the planning process of what you wanted to do, just like I was saying earlier, where I was surprised by how far ahead 4.6 was in knowing where I wanted to go next and coming up with those ideas, start using the AI not just to automate kind of the boring, monotonous, routine tasks and like do the lion's share of the work for whatever it is you wanted to do strategically. I would incorporate it sooner in helping you workshop basically whatever it is that strategy that you want to design and follow. So you can start using it before you're ready for it to do the lion's share of basically implement the plan that you're coming up with. And you can actually use it to kind of help you with designing and building the plan because the input that I think it provides now is better than ever. So it'll help you come up with something even better than
Oh
that.
yeah, it can do strategy and planning now,
Very well.
100%.
Yeah. So anything else you want to unpack for this episode before we wrap
We
up?
we dropped a lot. I
We
think
did. This one's
the
got a lot in
societal
it.
implications and corporate
We
implications.
did.
There's a lot going on there. If you have any questions, like I said, reach out to us, please. We respond pretty quickly, and we love the engagement from the community so far. Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it.